Well, guys, let's turn this down. Here we go with the alignment of the Breville. Now, I've got him sitting up on the back because I've just been doing some voltage checks, everything. And with this, a little bit different. We really can't peak an antenna coil. We have padders, which are another name for trimmer. There's two trimmers, two padders on this. Now, I'm just trying to work out what one's what. They both affect the alignment of the oscillator. So we'll just give us a look here. And this is the learning curve on how to align a Breville radio, which I have had nothing whatsoever to do with. But as you know, this Breville's been ongoing. And at last in the workshop, I've got an outside aerial, just a long wire antenna, and we're still waiting on some bits and pieces for the mini whip. So we're going to compare them and see how they work. Still a fair bit of interference on the long wire, but I am picking up, preliminary on this thing. Yeah, there's stations in here, but anyway, the first of the first is IF alignment. Now I've got the generator set with this one on. This is the alignment on these IFs is 446 kilohertz. Okay, 446, not 455. So let's. I'll set up the generator. Well, I've got the generator set up, and I'll spear a signal into the grid, which is the top cap of the 6D6 valve. And if we look here, we'll be going into the screen in this point here, okay, of the 6D6. It's an oscillator coil. No, hang on. No, guys, we can't go in here. We're bypassing this one. Sorry. We're going to have to go into the grid of the AK2, which is right on top, which is on our 40 ohm resistor on the tuning capacitor. Okay, the lead that goes from the resistor into the grid, grid of the AK2. Right, okay, let's hook her up. Let's see how we go on getting 446 peaked on this unit. Hopefully, this will be an easy one after, 2 years? Okay, guys, well, Jenny said 446. We're on 200 microvolts at the moment, 240. So we'll put our ground wire on, and we're onto the grid that goes to the AK2 down here. Okay, so we'll turn him right up, which there's not much happening there at the moment. AGC on this thing is non-existent, so you've got to put up with these, with aligning these things. They're a little bit different, this fella. Now, our meter's connected via the voice coil of the speaker. If this gets too loud, I'll just drop the wire off the secondary of the transformer and watch it on here. But I think for the purposes of what we're doing, this will be fine. Now we've got two trimmers here, two trimmers over the back here on that one there. You probably can't quite see him from there. And these trimmers have got HT on them. So I'm using a screwdriver because they're fairly hard to turn, but I've also got an insulated screwdriver. You don't want to be shorting these to ground, otherwise sparks and all sorts of things happen. Believe me, when I first started this radio, that was the case. And yeah, It wasn't good. Okay, let's increase the signal. Now we're up to 600 microvolts. Sounds a bit dead. Millivolts. Starting to come up there now. Pretty doughy. We're on 10 millivolts. Now we're up on the meter, so let's see. We will start at the end, work our way back towards the front. And let's see. There we go. Okay, I'll just turn him back down a bit. There's our peak there. This fella. Oh, okay. Now let's turn our signal back. It's no wonder this thing was a bit deaf. They're very hard to turn. Okay, there's our peak there. We'll come to IFT1. Now, if we just put up with that noise just for the moment, this microphone that I'm using may be blanking this tone out. It's my new microphones are due to arrive any day, and completely wireless, a wireless system, and yeah, it should be 1,000% on this old mic that I've got. So if you can just handle this bit, it'll be the last video of a shitty microphone. Okay, let's get this fella going. Okay, and there we go. And there's our pretty close to our peak. This one. Oh, okay. Now we'll knock our signal back again. We're into the microvolts, guys, so this is looking good. And there we are. Okay, we'll go back over, go back to the beginning. Let's do it again. Let's squeeze some more juice out of it. Probably won't get any more than that out of that one. That's it. And this one, I'll just go back a bit on the microvolts. We're down to 200 microvolts. And that's him. And lucky last. And there we go. The IF is aligned, and we can go right down to, well, that's, what have we got there? 50 microvolts. Bit different to when we started out at, yeah, whatever it was, 10 millivolts or something. So, okay, take him off. And do have a little bit of static. And Ariel certainly picking up. By spending trillions upon trillions of dollars to reach out. It's a suicide note for the world, and that includes Australia. A renewable Nevada. Okay. That's certainly got some gain in it. The old girl is living. Guys, to tell you the truth, I really didn't think when I stripped this chassis down to bare metal, as you'll see in the beginning of the videos, I never thought I'd ever get this thing going again. Videos, pictures, yeah, it was okay. But if you have a look back at what it was and the rebuild, it was incredible. Anyway, I'm so pleased you're following along with this journey. You can do anything if you just take your time and, yeah, just, well, take thousands of photos if you want. Very, very important. Okay. Now, the RF side of this is a little bit of an unknown. Right. Well, okay. Well, we're going for tuning the top end of the dial, 1400. Now, 1400 on the dial, you can't see that for the reflections and everything on there, but it's right there. So we're going to put our dial on 1400 and right on there. Okay, that is exactly 1400. Now, we've got the generator over here set on 1400 at 100 microvolts. We're going into the same point as what we did for the IF alignment. Okay, so we're going on to the grid of the AK2, which is right there. Okay, let's see what we got. Nothing. Well, that's handy. Okay, we'll up our signal to 500 microvolts and we'll find out where the signal is. It's down there. Okay. So he's got to come up right to there. Okay. Now, our needle is in the right position. Now we'll take this, we'll back the generator off to, I'll tell you what, guys, how about we go to modulation frequency 400 hertz. That's better. Okay. Now we're on the 100 microvolts there. You probably can't see anything on our meter at the moment. Although you can a little bit. There you go. That's probably better if I turn that light off, actually. Now you might be able to see the meter, although it's not real crash on. Let's because the meter's more important than the speaker when we're doing this. And I'll turn that light back on. Okay, probably see enough there. So there's our signal. Okay, just turn him down for the moment. Now, it's a little bit on the low side, so what I've got to do with this old girl is lift him up so we can get underneath. We've got to be able to move the oscillator. And okay, here we go. She's stable. because if this thing drops back and drops off that chock that I've got at the back, it snaps a couple of valves off, and we don't need that. Okay. Now what we've got to work out is we've got a trimmer here, and there's a trimmer on, looks like an aerial coil on the band switch. This looks like shortwave. This looks like medium wave because it goes to, bear with me guys, L3. Now L3 is this one here, which is our oscillator actually. So that's our oscillator. This one is a trimmer. So the oscillator one that we want to adjust is this fella here on the medium wave oscillator. And then the other one is up here on our antenna coil. But this also affects the tuning of this one that I've did a little bit of playing around trying to work this thing out. So this is the one we'll start on. This one, we may have to use it to adjust the bottom end. I don't know. There's no instructions on this, how to do this. So what we want to do is go to 1400 exactly. Volume's right up. Let's find 1400. There he is. Now, we all see the meter there. So the thing is, there's no peaking the antenna coil because they're all air coil. Now, there's a lot of you blokes out there that know about a lot more about vintage radios than what I do. This is 1932 or something. This is, a bit before I was born. And the first one of these I've actually worked on. So we've adjusted this one, put 1400 right. Let's do the 600 and see where the 600 lines up. Follow me, guys. Okay, we'll go around here to 600. At least my dial's working okay, and the pointer's working okay. Okay, 600. Let's put our generator on 600, and we don't want the modulation. We don't want the modulation frequency at 1000. Okay, 400 hertz. There we go. RF gen level. We're still set on 100 microvolts. We might increase that to 200 at the moment until we find it. Where is it? Can't hear it. It's down. It is actually 550. So I'm going to adjust. I think this is the way to do this. I'm going to adjust this one. Just Get some light in there. I'm going to adjust this one until we bring it in. And he doesn't. Okay, maybe this is the other way around. Okay, let's adjust this one till we find it. Okay, 600. We're right on 600. Now we'll go around to 1400, and we may have to peak this one to bring him into line. This is the only two adjustments there is on this radio. Okay, 1400. There we go. And can't hear it. Okay. It's way, way down. Okay, let's see whether we can find it with this one. There it is. Okay. Back him off. And we'll just peak him on 1400. Okay. We'll go back to 600. And see if he's moved. We'll keep chasing it until we get both of them lined up. 600. Oh, close. About 610. Okay. So we'll adjust this one to bring 600 in. And now I'll go back to 1400 again. And we'll do this procedure backwards and forwards until they both line up. That's exactly 1400. Just actually, it's not quite. Very close. That is so touchy. Okay, once more, guys, for good measure. We'll go back to 600. Should be spot on 600. Nothing should have altered on this end. So it's a bit of a balancing act between them. Slightly off. Ever so slightly. I am going to bring it up. There. And 1400 again. That way we know the dial is, well, reasonably accurate. Not that we're picking up many stations. And there it is, spot on. Perfect. Done. Guys, that's it. That's it for the alignment. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to put a bit of nail polish on both those screws. You've only got to breathe on them and they move. So, it looks like there's our circuit. I'm sorry it's not on the screen, but anyway, I've got this with me. This adjusts the low end of the band on there, and this one adjusts the high end. Now the high end is this one here, and the low end is that little baby in there. So yeah, I'm a little bit bamboozled about, well, this is an antenna coil arrangement. Why does it? You guys can probably answer this for me, please. If you know this circuit a little bit better than me, why have you got high end and low end on the oscillator? Why is this adjusting the oscillator? Okay, I thought there'd be, well, both these are air coils. Now, there's no adjustments. There's no other adjustments as far as shortwave. So what I'm going to do now is tip this thing over. I'll pause the camera, put it back, and let's see what it's going to pick up. Is it going to pick up shortwave? I haven't tried shortwave. So I'll dab my nail polish on and come back very shortly. Okay, well, we seem to be picking up things on here with no aerial attached. It's only rubbish, but let's see if we can get the ABC down here. No, just rubbish. Okay. Now I have an outside antenna. It's a very simple wire strung up outside, just between 2 points. There's nothing fancy about it. But as you can hear, we're getting a station. Okay.
And she was blonde, and I'm not, but that's not a weak politics. So, look, it's an attitude and a bit of sass, and I started out,
Okay.
I guess, now that you've asked me this.
Let's have a look around the band. Now we're starting from the lowest end first. I'm going to turn our overhead lights off, and let's see what we can get.
So you say we're not doing anything anymore, Christine? The high 30s in those areas affected. So it is concerning for residents, and they'll be wanting to get reconnected as soon as possible. Okay, so with more of the power. And that was also set from the template. Yeah, and I think it's concerned about this, but I've got to see there's a doubt in my mind, at least, what we're going to do about this. Conscious mind is going to count. Our subconscious mind, all Earth, the database, has collected. Right. So helping out what people who really need help. Pinlight, Johnson, all over. Launch unit, 30% off Pinlight, 5 litre each. Bushfires were declining. So they're declining, and there's an argument. There's an argument from data you can.
Well, guys, I'm pretty happy with that. That station there would be Parks, which is about 80 k's from where we are. And that is Dubbo, which is around 100 k's from where we are. Unfortunately, there's not a hell of a lot left. We have one in there. Can't quite get that. That is Wagga Wagga, New South Wales, and it's a couple of 100 k's away. But yeah, we're not getting it. This fella is the local station.
Do the same and call Roger at Canobbler's Carpet Care 0418 635.
And that station's not very far away at all. It's only 20, 30 k's from here. And amazing one, there's one up here.
Thanks for the call, mate, and highlighting exactly what a number of others.
Now, that station is Lithgow, and that's a good 140 k's from where we are. And that's picking up no problems. That one I'm not real sure of. We've got a couple of ABC stations down here. And there's one there. And our local.
What's that flower you have on? Could it be?
And as you can hear. And like it's not hi-fi quality on this speaker. Like, look at it. Have a look back at the first video and you'll see what I started with. It's going, that's the main thing. She's no good on the bass notes or anything like that. The cone's a bit tight. I was just learning to redo cones at that stage. And, well, it's working. And okay, let's switch over to Shortwave. Here we go. Let's see what we got. This time of morning, probably nothing. In the 31 metre band there now. I reckon that'll be heaps better for you. Okay, we're on the 31 metre band. Now we're approaching the 25 metre band up here now. not much coming in here at the moment. Only got rubbish in here, guys. Now this is only very early in the morning here, so there's yeah, just not much happening. Nothing. We've got lots of rubbish. I'll pause the video and I'll try and find something in amongst it and come back to you. Okay, guys. Well, what is it? It's 9:53 in the morning. Very little coming in there. Now, I hooked an antenna to this thing last night before it was aligned, and I was getting a fair bit from China, Japan, so forth. So what I'll do, well, I'm going to pause the video or do some other things, and tonight we'll come back and we'll see what we can find, mostly about the 18, 19, 20 metre bands last night. So, yeah, we'll come back tonight. Meanwhile, well, what I've got to fit now is some dial lamps on the corner and the top of this dial. Let's have a look at what we've got to do there. But at least the magic thing is she's working, guys. She's going good.
Taking on these projects, including the consortium that's building the.
That is amazing. Hello, guys. Well, I'm just starting the lamp assembly around the outside. We've got these. They're pretty ordinary. The rubbers are pretty ordinary. I don't know quite what I'll do there. We may just keep using them, but certainly needs a bit of a clean-up. And yeah, I'll do something with them. The cable's got to be replaced. I'm not using cloth covered cable with this one. Here's the second one. Yeah, the tape has to be cleaned up a bit. I'll see what I can do with the rubber on the outside of these things. It looks a bit ordinary. And of course that has to fit in the ends of these, which actually fit on the side of the radio like that. So a lamp goes in here and a lamp goes in here, and the same on this side. There is three. I have two of these. There's another one wandering around somewhere. So that's the exercise at the moment. Let's bring this down a bit. Now the other exercise is Bluetooth. We're going to fit a board into this. This is a board made by Manuel at Electronics Old and New. If you haven't seen this one, pretty smick piece of gear. Now, this has an amplifier stage, isolating stage. We can run it off the 6.3 volt AC without any worries. which is our filament. And my little module, Bluetooth module, is just a cheapie from eBay. I may mount this separately. A simple reason, this can go under the radio, but this you need external to the radio, of course. So possibly, you know, on the front somewhere where it's in free space and not in behind the chassis. Of course, we want the thing to pick up. There's your aerial on top of it, so that's got to be exposed to the elements. All right, still got a bit to do. We've got to find out whether the switching works properly. I'm a little bit confused with the switching part of it because we're still getting some radio through there. I'm just wondering whether that is local, distant, and shortwave. So I'm not real sure whether that is actually gram. If it's not, well, we're going to come up with a switchover arrangement via this switch anyway. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, now it's time for the dial lamps to make this thing nice and pretty at night time anyway. And oh boy, this, as I said, this is what we've got just in the earlier part of the video. That's rubber and that is solid. Now what the rubber does is go in the end of these, and it doesn't compress or anything. Mind you, these can be sprung out a bit until it sits in like that. And your lamp screws into there. Okay, so you've got one at the top and one at the bottom. Now I'm two missing, which is the top ones, and these are each side. So this is how the radio comes. So first of all, we're getting rid of the wiring. It's falling apart. It's horrible. I'm going to use plastic wiring for this, black and brown and twisted. I'm not using cloth because, well, the cloth cable I've got for guitar amps and so forth that I do is just way too heavy for this. It doesn't bend properly. It's awful. And I haven't got any lighter cloth cable. So yeah, I'm going to use what I've got. Now these are screwed in. So inside there, if you can see it, there's a screw. Okay, so you might be able to see this one a little bit better. There it is. Okay, and on the back, there's a nut. So this assembly comes apart. Now, I've got some of these that I've kept out of radios. Yes, they could somehow go in there, clip over this, but the original design of this, and I'm a little bit confused as to why. There's both sides of the 6.3 are floating, so neither of these cables was grounded. So it's just a twisted pair of 6.3, not ground. So we can't use something like this, but I do have a couple of these, just lamp mounts, and I've got some rubber. Now, if we drill the center of the rubber out, push this into it, that rubber tubing will fit in there, which is a pretty good fit. I've got 2 lots of rubber, so I can do 4 of these, but I still need 2 more. I don't know what these were, possibly out of an old printer or something like that as the paper feed, I think. I'm not real sure, but they're nice soft rubber. and they would suit the purpose. So somehow removing this outside. Okay, I'll see, can I pull this apart, remove it, and yeah, have a bit of a think and let you know what I come up with. You can probably see there and something that's going to go together as well. But yeah, I'll keep working on this. The other thing we've got to do, yeah, is pretty up the back of the chassis with these fellas. Okay, this was cleaned up, and there it is, model 96, and the valve layout. So that's got to be done yet. We've got some nice little brass rivets to put on this. So yeah, let's start on these. Okay, well that's the general layout. So we've got this one, this one, this one, that joins lamp to lamp, lamp to the top, to that lamp, to this lamp, to the bottom lamp, and to the radio. Okay. It yeah, looks a bit crazy, but that's how it's got to go. And guess what? I found another rubber. Doesn't look real good, but it'll clean up and it's nice and soft. So, yep, that'll do the job. And as you can see, simple wiring loom done. Just one to the next, and we'll get on to these blokes now and try and do something with these and get them wired up. Don't know what we're going to do with them. Bit of WD-40 to start with, I think. Right, I have one of these apart. Look at this. You got the case. I took the nut off. We've got a spring washer. We've got our tab for the centre. We've got an insulating washer. We've got our tab for the ground. Then we've got an insulated tab that the screw fits inside it, which is that one in there. And of course, the case. So many pieces for one thing. What do we buy these days? Yeah, look at it. Now, when I buy these, I always solder the bottom here because this is renowned to not make contact in the bottom of these things. You can buy these, JCar, yeah, just about any hobby electronics shop. Okay. These ones, well, yeah, these are the real deal, but once again, they're only riveted, but pretty good quality. But anyway, that's what we're using for two of them. And the rest, well, we've got to rebuild this setup. So we've got to get this rubber off. And by the look of it, it's fairly brittle. Just got to be careful we don't damage the thread on the inside of it. There we go. And this is what we're left with. So that doesn't look real good, does it? I'll clean that up and put this back together and clean all the bits up, and then we'll find, well, what are we going to put around this? We can use this, but we can also roughly work out maybe putting this inside a grommet, and the grommet goes around there, and with some super glue or something to hold it in place, or we can drill the center out of this fella. So yeah, there's a couple of alternatives there just to insulate the ground connection of the lamp from the chassis of the radio. Right, guys, well, I've redone these, new screws in them, and yeah, they're ready to go. So all we've got to do now I've got 4 of the originals and I've got those 2. Well, we've come up with the idea of a grommet. So we put them inside the grommet. I'll just heat these a little bit to make them a little bit more pliable. Put the grommet around, and then the whole thing pushes into the side of the tubes. Okay, this was the best way that I could find. I may use a little bit of Celastic around the outside of it just to make sure the grommet stays in position. I could put 2 grommets on, but then it's too long for this. So yeah, but anyway, you'll see what I'm doing here. So I'll get these put in, and we'll wire them, and see what the Christmas tree looks like when she's lit up. Then it's time to put it in. We're getting there. Not much to go. Righto, guys. Well, we're on to the lighting this dial up on the Breville. Now, what I've got here is I've got all my little globes. We had to order these. And, well, pretty soon I'll be probably changing most of these to LEDs in the future. These, well, they draw a fair bit of power, fair bit out of the transformer, so forth. But yeah, it'll handle it. But well, you get things like distorted dials if they're plastic based, and it'd be just easier with the LEDs. And with that, what I'm using is some little circuit boards that's just got a diode and a resistor you put on there for your voltage drop. And Manuel on Electronics Old and New described this. This is his board. He designed it. I didn't do this. And you just break them off, and there it is. You mount the LED on the end of it. You put a resistor on. You put a 4148 in there, and 6.3 AC into the back end, and there's your lamp. And you can put a bit of heat shrink over it, and it's just a really easy, very good little modification. So what I've done now, these are my covers that go on the each side of the glass, each side and across the top on the Breville. These fellas go top and bottom. Okay, so they just go in there. I've just got a grommet, and I'm just going to push the grommet in, and probably put a little bit of glue around the top, just a bit of contact adhesive or something like that, just to hold them in place. You don't want to hold them too tight, because you've got to be able to get them out if the lamp blows. So the old bases, well, yeah, they'd fallen apart. They were no good. Okay, so I'm going to wire them up. But what I've done here is I've got my little board, bit of heat shrink over it, our wiring, and a blue LED. Okay, in there. You can see him in there. It's just a hole drilled. I'll be putting a little bit of tape just over the back here, just to hold that in position. Now, the 3 of those just go on the radio like so, and your dial's in here. Now, I think you saw that. Yep, that's how it is. And of course, we've got our ordinary lamps like so. Okay, so there's our setup. And our wiring, as you saw, it goes from one to the other right around. 6.3. 6.3 onto our blue LEDs when Bluetooth is enabled. These will disable and the dial will light up blue. Okay, this is only a nighttime thing. They're not, they're ultra bright LEDs. They are diffused, so it's not a concentrated light in one spot. The LEDs, these are from eBay, and they're just, they're not clear. They're just a diffused light, You can buy these, I don't know, $5, $7 or something like that for 50, I think I got. So I've put it in there, and as I said, you switch it to Bluetooth and you'll see how, well, you'll see how I'm going to do it. I'm yet to see how I'm going to do that. Yeah, no contact switching. That's what I want with this thing. And when it switches over, there'll be a small relay in there that will change the 6.3 from the dial lamps to the blue LEDs when Bluetooth is enabled. Okay, so I'm going to put all this together. We'll bring the radio up here and we'll start wiring it in. We've basically got them done. All I've got to do is mount them in there so they don't move around too much. But that won't, that's only a dab of glue. Let's make sure they all work. There we go. Okay, got the power supply hooked up. Okay, turn him on. And there we go. So that looks pretty nice. Now, we'll test the LEDs. So these are 3-volt LEDs. So we'll go back, we've got to go to 6.3, and current, we'll drop it down to 70 milliamps, probably. That will do. Now we're on 6.3 volts. Okay, go here, and here. Okay, 6.3, and there we go. Our blue LEDs are lit up. Very nice. Okay, all's working. Let's get the radio and let's get these set up so I can get on with this little Bluetooth project on this one, as well as a whole heap of other things to finish up this Breville. This is the highlight, the actual hero. This dial is the hero of this unit. This is going to look pretty good, I think. How are we going to go here? We've got to we got him back the front. Okay, there we go. Okay, now these slide in under the screws, so I think I'll start by putting the top on, putting the screws in the top, and then going from there. Now this looks a bit ratty around the top with the tape holding the wires and everything. You don't see anything once all this is together. This was how it was wired, so I'm only following what was there. You only see just the outside of the glass. I'll get some screws and we'll connect up. We'll try it, see what the dial looks like when it is lit up, make sure everything's right, see what the blue LEDs are like when all this is happening. Okay guys, well, I've tidied them up the best they can be. I mean, they're a lot better than what they were. But yeah, that's sort of how they go. Now I've got some tape to hold everything in place around the edges. Yes, that wasn't there in the first place, but yeah, the way I've put this on is probably, yeah, it's better off just kept in place than floating around. Now, guys, I have 6.3 volts here from the power supply. Let's light the Breville up to start with, shall we? We might have to turn the light off to to really appreciate this. In actual fact, I will turn the lights off, so it'll be a bit dim in here for a while. And I haven't put the overhead lights off yet, but But here we go. How's that? And I will turn our overhead light off. And oh yeah, that's pretty nice. Okay, so there she is out, and that looks pretty good. Now it looks to be brighter down in this corner, but it's only because there's a lot of white close stations here, whereas there isn't on this side. Okay, so there's not many here, especially where the lamp is right here. So this appears to be brighter, but believe me, they're all shining at about the same brightness. How's that? Okay, now in the dark, can I find the Bluetooth? Not quite in the dark. Let's light that up. Let's have a look at the Bluetooth. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that's coming up pretty nice too. Yes, we can't read the stations, but it's all blue, and that's exactly the effect I wanted. That is very, very nice. Oh, at long last, it's nearly there. Okay, now you can still see the blue there with the overhead light on. Not very strong when I turn it on. It is when my alligator clips don't fall off. There it is. So you can see the difference there. And if we come around to this side, okay, just there, you can see the blue lighting up there very nicely. Righto guys, now I've got a Bluetooth board in here, and there's a module got to be put here. I do have 5 volts right at the bottom here. The Bluetooth board will be mounted right here in the front of this. We may put it on. No, I want it at the front because I want maximum signal getting to it. There's our audio line for left and right, and we'll discuss the board once I get it mounted on here, and yeah, then work out a way of switching this automatically, because this one is it's a band switch. It's shortwave, medium wave, and medium wave local. So yeah, if you go right back, it goes to a just an attenuated local signal. I don't want to alter that. That switch is a nightmare. I'm going to do it another way, and there'll be no contact switching as such. Okay. Well guys, we're going to pull out of this video now. This is another hour video on this thing. Hope you enjoyed this one. I certainly did. We're getting close to the end, so that's the main thing. Down here, the little Bluetooth board has got to go in. I do have another board mounted inside, one of Manuel's boards. I will show you it, and we'll go through the Bluetooth on the next video. I haven't quite worked out how it's all going to be enabled and switching. There was a little bit of a issue when I was sort of mucking around with it with deactivating the radio side of it. So we've got to kill a voltage to probably the second IF amp in around that to the cathode of the valve. Just open it so that the valve's not working, so we can get a nice clear Bluetooth signal. But I'll run through all that on the next video. This one's gone on long enough. Guys, if you really like what I'm doing, super thanks, or buy me a coffee. The link's in the description of the video, So that's another way to help support keeping these videos going, I guess. But otherwise, give us a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It certainly helps the channel grow and just keep going. Okay, so hit the bell and you'll be notified when my next video comes up, which will be the next part of this, and getting pretty close to the end, I'd say. As I said, this wasn't a 5-minute project. It was going to be a long-term one, but I hope you're enjoying the journey. We've certainly got the dial looking nice. Okay, until next time, bye for now.